You're listening to Candidate Conversations on the WIDU Radio Network. I'm your host, Jay Reinstein. And today I am with attorney Glenn Adams, also county commissioner running for re-election, District 1, Cumberland County. Welcome to Candidate Conversations, Attorney Adams.
Well, thank you, Jay. I appreciate you being able to do this and do all of those interviews. I did it for a number of years, so I understand how you do this and continue to do this, but you do an excellent job.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So I think the first thing is so many people know you in this community, but what do you see as the single biggest challenge facing Cumberland County right now, and what specific role do you think the commissioners should play in addressing it?
Well, I think there's a number of issues, but one of the largest issues is working with the school board. We've got so many older schools that we have here, and you saw that they just did a consultant study coming back. And anytime you're talking about closing schools or moving schools or moving lines, it's going to cause tension with citizens and parents and kids.
Right.
Happens in Raleigh all the time. They always redraw the line. But it's necessary. But I think that what we've got to do here is you were in the city manager's office.
Yeah.
If you remember, we have not ran a bond issue for schools since Rick Glazier was on the school board, which has been at least 25 years ago.
Right.
And so that's what we're going to have to do. And I think that's when we do this bond issue is to sell it to the people and the citizens of Cumberland County. Because, you get some of the older ones say, look, I don't have any kids in school. Why should I have to pay these taxes?
Right.
And then you got the parents who saying, I want these elite schools. And so it's being able to communicate with all of these individuals to make them understand what the need is to be able to do that. Yeah,
and do you think you'll get, I just heard what you said, you think you'll get a lot of pushback, or the hope is you'll get the support you need and have a successful bond?
Well, the consultant study probably helped, because now you've got the ones down in Beaver Dam saying, don't close our schools. You got Massey Hill, you got all of these folks.
Yeah.
So if we tell them, okay, instead of closing schools, let's do this bond issue, and we can build some schools, and you may not have to move. But you got to be able to sell it to them and let them know what they're getting out of this bond. You saw bond issues before.
Oh, absolutely. I remember the Parks and Rec bond.
Parks and Rec bond, yes.
That was that was successful.
That's right.
So Cumberland County is growing and changing. How do we more effectively balance economic development with protecting neighborhoods, infrastructure, and really quality of life? Where's the balance?
And I think people have to understand what economic development is first, because everybody talks about bringing economic development is bringing these big companies in.
Right.
Well, that's one aspect of it. But another aspect of economic development is jobs, creation of small businesses and jobs.
Right.
And so as we get ready to do this, there is an interplay between bringing in big companies and creating jobs. But it's not also just about bringing in big companies, Jay, because one of the things I always ask them is, what kind of wage are you going to pay?
Right.
If you're not paying a living wage such that you're paying less than a living wage, and I still have to have people go to DSS to get food stamps and all of that, it's still a drain on the community, even though I've got this company here.
Right.
So, and then so you're looking at that, the living wage. You're also looking, what's the impact on this community? Is it something environmentally that's going to harm this community or not? And so all of that, it's a delicate balancing issue with that. But I always tell people, education is the best thing. If I can tell you up front what this company is and what it does, let you do your homework, as opposed to, now social media is something else. Things will spread across social media, and once it gets a hold of people, they believe it, whether it's right or wrong.
That's right.
We had that with the titanium plant that's coming here. And so it is a delicate balance as we do this. And I'll tell you, I'm a big person on green space. As we're building neighborhoods and stuff, we need to have some of this green space out here for people to be able to, we're one of the most unhealthiest communities in North Carolina, Cumberland County is, because we don't have the parks, we don't have the trails, we don't have the green spaces. We need people to get out and get exercising and being able to do all of that. So there's a delicate balance to all of that.
Yeah, and it's good that you talk about economic development. It's not just bringing businesses. There's a lot more to it. Again, we're talking to attorney/commissioner Glenn Adams, former chair of the county commissioners, running for Cumberland County Commissioner District 1. Exciting stuff. Let's talk about taxes a little bit here. Property taxes and county spending matter to a lot of residents. That's usually one of the big things that folks talk about. How do you decide when to raise taxes and when to actually cut spending? How do those conversations happen?
Well, part of it depends on your services that you want to provide. And the way North Carolina is set up for all of our counties, the biggest way you get revenue is by property tax.
Yep.
Unlike Mecklenburg and Wake, we don't have those large companies that pay those property taxes and pay those high wages, so you get all of that. So we don't have that. So it is the property tax. So you got to look at what your revenue stream is by what services you want to provide, because everybody wants the services, and you want it evenly distributed throughout your county. You don't want one part of your county getting more services than another part of your county. So you want to make sure everybody gets those same things. One of the things is that for years the county never raised taxes. The taxes were already high. We were at 79. We lowered it this year to like 49. And now there's going to have to be some adjustment in that. And so it is again, I always talk about that delicate balance, because what happens is if you're a senior, it's difficult to say, wait a minute, I've been paying on this house for all these years, all these taxes, and I'm still paying taxes, and they're going up. And what am I getting for these taxes? Here's an interesting point that people don't realize. If you remember this last reevaluation, on the reevaluation, people's houses went up. Right? Considerably, which means you had equity in your house, right?
Yep.
But if you are, 60 or 70 years old, the odds are you ain't gonna sell your house.
That's right.
So the equity in your house really means nothing.
That's right.
Now, if you are 30 or 40 with a bunch of equity, and you're gonna sell that house, take that equity and move to a new house or do whatever. So that's the issue that you come up with when you're reevaluating, is equity doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't.
When you've been at your house 30 years and you're not planning on selling it,
that's right.
You're probably gonna end up, that's your last house that you ever buy. So what does equity mean to you, Jay, in that? It doesn't mean anything, right?
No, it doesn't mean anything. When I was 30, it meant a lot. Now it doesn't mean so much.
Right, but I got to pay taxes on that valuation.
That's right.
There has to be a mechanism, and counties are creation of the state. So we can't do anything that the state doesn't allow us to do. So as they're talking about taxes up at the state now, this is some of the issues and some of the things that they have to talk about. Is that I understand, I want the taxes off of that house over there, but if you're a senior, that equity doesn't mean that much. So should I tax you the same rate I tax somebody over here?
Yeah, it's a very good point, and hopefully the General Assembly, they will look at that, because I think that really does, it makes a lot of sense. Let's talk about public safety. Includes law enforcement, emergency management, community trust. What does the county commission do, in your opinion, really well here when it comes to public safety and community trust, and where do you need to maybe tweak it a little bit? Well,
I think that we fund the sheriff's department really well. It's a huge county, and so the sheriff has to take out everything in that unincorporated areas, but he's also doing some things inside the city too. So, one of the biggest challenges is to make sure that they have the needs that they have, okay? Then you're talking about in the county, in those unincorporated areas, volunteer fire departments. The volunteer fire departments, theirs is based on the tax of where they are. So if you're out in Stony Point, where you've got those large houses, your tax base is a little bit higher than somebody up in Wade and Godwin. So the county commissioners have to make sure, how do we evenly distribute this such that everybody is taken care of.
Right.
And so those are some of the challenges. I think we've met those challenges because these volunteer fire departments understand their neighbors and stuff and are willing to allow us to move that money around to be able to do that. And so I think that works. You know, one of the problems that I think is nationwide now is I believe that there's too many guns on the street.
Oh.
I'm not against people having and owning guns.
Right.
But leaving them in your car, leaving them unlocked, you know, on my day job, and I'm an attorney, I've had too many cases where kids have gone pulling door handles and taking guns out, and they have those guns. And these kids, we all know that for kids, their brains don't mature till they're 25. Right. They operate off impulse.
Yep.
And guns empower people. So we old in here. So when we used to do it, we'd have a fight.
Yeah.
Right? You might fight. Somebody might have had some brass knuckles, but most people didn't.
That's
you just
right.
had a fight.
That's right.
Now, when they have a fight, they bring out a gun.
Right.
And if you got a gun, I got a gun, and they're shooting indiscriminately.
Yeah.
And so
it's
for
scary.
For the public, I tell them, law enforcement can't stop that. Right. You know, the one thing here in Cumberland County, though, as we look at it, most of the shootings are related somewhere. The people are related. There is a nexus to them. It's not just like indiscriminate going around shooting people.
Right.
But because they hadn't been trained, they shooting is going into neighborhoods, going into apartments. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And so I used to, we as attorneys, we used to laugh when you used to read in the paper that somebody would break into somebody's house and nothing was missing.
Right.
What thief you know breaks into a house and nothing's missing?
Right.
Well, they usually stole guns because that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
Because how big is your TV?
I have a few. I probably 70-inch.
Who's going to steal a 70-inch TV?
Very few people.
And take it out of the house.
That is correct. You're right. Exactly.
So they're looking for some jewelry maybe, and they're looking for guns. And that's what these kids are looking for in terms of that. And they have them out here on the street. So, you know, I tell people, you got to give the police department and the sheriff and those a little bit of grace on those shootings. Yeah. Some of the other stuff you can do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever been to England or wherever.
I just got back a week ago.
So you were in England.
Yeah.
You go into some of the stores.
Yeah.
What's the very first thing you saw? You on what? CCTV.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right. They got the cameras
everywhere.
They tell you, right?
Everywhere.
So why in America do we hide the cameras so we can catch you after you've done it?
Yeah, right.
Where in England they say we're gonna let you know that if you pick up something, you on CCTV.
That's right.
So why don't we do that here? Why don't we make these cameras such that hey, you on CCTV, you're gonna get caught.
It might make you think twice before you do something. Right. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good point. And also the police most of them don't have guns.
Right,
so
over in England.
That's over in England. So that's very interesting. Again, we're talking to Glenn Adams, attorney, county commissioner, running again for county commissioner re-election, District 1. Let's just talk quickly about education. While the county doesn't run the schools day to day, it does fund them. What is the responsibility of you as a county commissioner to the students, teachers, and the workforce? What do you got to do?
Well, you know, one is they do send us a budget, and we look at their budget. And even as you're looking at the budget, you got to determine what you're going to fund and what you're not going to fund.
Right.
All right. Now, once we give it to them, they do what they want to with it. But I have always been a big proponent. My mother was a teacher. My sister was a teacher. My cousin was a teacher.
Everyone in my family are teachers.
Right. So if you look, this year we did it. Last year I tried to get it done, which is the supplements. Because we lose good teachers. Yeah. So here's what I kind of tell people now is that years ago, when people had a job, that was the job they were going to stay right here in Cumberland County. Yeah. We are now a transient kind of people. So you can drive to Hope County, you can drive to Wake County, you can drive to these other places. So when you're talking about setting salaries, you got to believe who your competition is. Yeah. Our competition, the way counties used to do this and the way schools used to do this is to take counties of the similar size. So you would take Cumberland County, look at Buncombe County, look at Guilford County and say, this is what they're paying. We need to be in line with them, right? Well, when we did this, I said we can't do that anymore because I'm not competing with Buncombe County and Guilford County.
Right.
I'm competing with Wake County because they can drive an hour.
Yeah,
They're
that's
competing
right.
with Durham County. We even had some to go down to Wilmington. You were with the assistant county manager.
Assistant
city manager,
Yep.
assistant city manager. How many police officers did you have that were driving to Cary to
Many.
be police officers?
Many.
Because Cary was paying
More.
money
And
for
there's
the
less
exact
crime.
same, well, less crime.
I mean-
but for the same work.
Oh, yeah, no,
for the
absolutely.
same work.
Absolutely.
So if that's the case, then we can't look at and say, well, I can't pay as much as Wake. We can't pay as much, but we have to be in the ballpark.
That's right.
And so our supplements in this community for our teachers were the lowest in the region. Now, come on. Cumberland County, you've got Robinson, you've got Hope, you got Moore. Moore has some money.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be at the bottom of this.
But you guys did come up quite a bit.
We're now one of the
Yeah.
tops in the region, but part of it is the way the state does teacher supplements. It actually punishes Cumberland County in terms of, that's why Hope County had higher teacher supplements because they had more money coming from the state. So we had to make that up from the county to be able to
Interesting.
do that. So you want quality teachers. Everybody wants a quality
right.
teacher teaching their child. Well, you got to pay for that.
That's right.
You got to pay for that.
That's right. That's
and
right.
so I think bringing up that teacher supplement was important to be able to do that, to make sure that we had that quality. And so you start there because everything happens in the classroom.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so once you can do that, you know, one of the major things that I have, and I guess we won't ever have enough teachers, I do believe class sizes are too big. If you have a little smaller class size, a teacher can do a whole lot of
That's right.
stuff with a smaller class size. And if I give her 30 kids, or if I give her 18 kids,
Oh, yeah.
and I think somewhat that's the difference between public schools and private schools. Private schools aren't having those huge classes of 30 people with this teacher because they can dictate how they're going to
That's
do
right.
that. So yeah, you're going to do. You can give a little bit more individualized attention. That's what we need to do in public schools. We have to fund our schools to be able to get teachers, assistants in the classroom to help those teachers to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I always say, I've a family full of teachers. They don't get into the business to become wealthy, but the expectation they shouldn't be working 2 and 3 jobs. They should be able to get a fair and livable wage, an equitable wage. So that's very well said. Again, I have one final question for you. Again, we're talking to attorney / commissioner Glenn Adams, running for re-election, District 1. Why should people vote for you, Attorney Adams?
Well, I think it matters. It's not just getting elected, it's what you do. So I will tell you that in terms of it's about programs, it's about people, it's about citizens. So the National Association of County Commissioners, right? We go to a conference every year.
Right.
We had, but for programs that I initiated, and I'll name a few of them, just a few of them, we won over 30 awards.
Wow.
Nationwide, all the counties in the nation.
That's right.
So we had, I called attention to the maternal health crisis that we had. We shouldn't have babies dying. We shouldn't have mothers waiting the second trimester to see doctors. And so calling attention to that, we did doulas in this community. Then talking to Cape Fear Valley, they've opened 2 midwife clinics to be able to do that.
Wow.
So if you can't see that doctor, we're going to help you beforehand
Right.
to be able to do that. I tell people you can't sit in the walls anymore. You've got to go where the people are. So I started what they call healthy conversations, where we've got barbers. We train barbers to talk to the people in their chair about prostate cancer, colon cancer, all of that, getting checked up. We got that. Started the child care center for our employees because child care, if you got to worry about where your child is going to be, you really can't concentrate on your job. So we put that in place. I got that put in place to be able to do that. I did a recovery center out off Executive Place because this is what touches people,
Yeah.
individuals.
Yeah.
And if you look at those awards we got, it wasn't about building buildings. It wasn't about
Right.
all of this. It's about taking care of your citizens and making it a better place for them to be able to do that. And so I think I bring that to them. You know, I talk about green space. I talk about individuals and what we can do in this community. But you can't do that without jobs. So economically, we brought in a number of jobs in this community. We brought in the titanium plant. We brought in Amazon. We brought in a number of companies to be able to do that. But again, it's about a living wage.
Right.
I don't believe that you should be on your job 40 hours a week and have to get another job to make ends meet.
Totally
now,
agree.
if you want to go have another job to get some extra cash, that's fine. But you should be able to make and take care of your family off your number one job.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we didn't take everything. There are a lot of businesses that came and said we want to come to Cumberland County because we sit on top of Fort Bragg.
Right.
But I don't necessarily need you. You want me to give you money to bring in something that's paying $8 an hour.
Right. The incentives.
It just doesn't. It doesn't make sense for me to give you money to hire my people that still not going to make a living wage.
Right.
And you don't give them health insurance. You don't give them all of those things that they need to be able to do that. So as I move through this election, it's again to make sure that we take care of our individuals. You've got the most vulnerable in our children. Mm-hmm. Now we're getting, the baby boomers are getting older, so we've got to worry about our seniors. I'll tell you this, Jay, and I know not trying to talk about your illness, but as we do that, we started a program at the Council on Elder Adults and at Mid Carolinas dealing with Alzheimer's and everything because
it's important.
It's important because people don't realize that. But here's the thing that really bothers me, and I've done this for a number of years as an attorney. When you have somebody that you're taking care of every day, that person needs some respite.
Yeah.
Because they give such good care to the person they're caring for, they neglect their own health.
Right.
They end up passing away. The person that they took care of still didn't have to go into a nursing home.
That's right.
We've got to be able to educate folk that we've got something to be able to help you. We've got some respite for you, or we've got some other things that we can do to help you take care of that loved one so that you understand what you're going through at the same time. So it is about people.
Yeah.
This is home for me. I was born and raised here, and I see my friends and my families and all of the people, and we have to just take care of each other.
Take care of each other. That's a good theme. Again, we've been talking to County Commissioner Attorney Glenn Adams, running for re-election, District 1. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. Thank you, Wes and Sandy. For, we did this for a long time. It's important, I think, for people to hear what everybody has to say. But I also tell them, great to hear it on the radio, but see if they come out in your community, see if they show up where you can go up and talk to them. I've tried to always make myself accessible all throughout this community. People say, you out there taking pictures. Well, I get pictures taken, but that's because I'm there.
Right.
And I told you early on, I'm really not that, I'm smart, but I'm really not that smart. I listen to people, and a lot of the things and programs I put together come from talking to people and hearing their needs. It's okay. Because I will tell you, if you are not necessarily handicapped, you don't think about that. You don't think about a wheelchair trying to get through the door.
That's right.
You don't think about where people are. But when you talk to them and they tell you, this is an issue I have, or this is an issue.
That's right.
Can't solve all the issues, but together we can kind of come to some kind of something that makes it a little bit better.
Yep. Thank you so much. And again, you've been listening to Candidate Conversations